In this video, we will learn how to solve radical equations, whether they are written in the radical expression form or whether they are written as a rational exponent. So let's go ahead and start on number 1. The first step is I need to isolate the radical. I do that by dividing both sides by 2. So I will get square root of x plus 1 equals 14 divided 2, which is 7. Now then, I need to apply the inverse operation to both sides. So to get rid of the square root, I square both sides. So that will give me x plus 1 equals 49. Now I need to isolate the x and solve for x by subtracting 1 from both sides, so x is equal to 48. Now, especially in radical expressions and with square root functions, you have to double check. You have to plug it in to see if it works or not. So you have to check for extraneous solution, because sometimes you might get a solution, but when you plug it back in, it might not work. So you need to see if that's going to give you 14. So 48 plus 1, that's 49. The square root of 49 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14, which is equal to 14. So that is accurate. Now pause the video and try number 2 on your own. Now here, the radical is already isolated. There's nothing added, subtracted, or multiplied that I need to move to the other side. So the first step is done. Now I need to square both sides to get rid of the radical. So I need to apply the inverse operation. Now when you square the radical goes away. So I end up having 15x plus 10 equals. Now remember, when you are squaring a binomial, you have to remember FOIL it. So 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3, that's going to give you 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. Now this is a quadratic equation, so you need to move everything to one side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract 15x. Now remember, I always want you to keep the x squared positive. So then I'm moving everything from the left to the right, because I need to keep the 4x squared positive. And I need to subtract 10. So I end up having 4x to the power 2 minus 3x minus 1 equal to 0. So that's a quadratic equation that I need to solve. So I can either factor it, and if it's not factorable, then I can use the quadratic equation. So let's try by factoring it first. And if I cannot factor it, I use the quadratic equation to find the solutions. Now, what multiplies to give you 4x squared? 2x and 2x, or 4x and x. And now what multiplies to give you negative 1? So negative 1 and 1. So if I cross multiply, that's going to give me negative 4x plus 1x, which is the middle term. So then my two factors are 4x plus 1 and x minus 1. So the first solution is going to be negative 1 over 4 and 1. Now remember, you have to plug it back in to see if they work. Maybe both of them might not work. Maybe both will work. Maybe none of them will work. Maybe one will work. So you have to double check by plugging it in. So let's go ahead and start by plugging in 1 first. So always check for extraneous solution. So that will give me square root of 15x. So that's 15 times 1 plus 10. And I need to check if it's that equal to 2 times 1, which is 2 plus 3. So 15 plus 10, that's 25. Square root of 25 is 5. And this is 5. So yes, it did work. Now I need to try negative 1/4. Now a lot of you might say it's not going to work because it's a fraction, but it might. So you have to plug it in. So 15 times negative 1/4 is going to be negative 15 over 4 plus 10. Remember, in order for me to be able to add those two, I need to make it the same denominator. So I need to multiply top and bottom by 4. And then I need to check if that's going to be equal to 2 times negative 1/4. So that's negative 2 over 4 plus 3. Okay? So again, I can simplify this. And I need to multiply this by 2 and this by 2. Okay, so negative 15 over 4 plus 10 times 4 over 4, so that's 40 minus 15 is going to give me 25 over 4. which is equal to, if you square root 25, you get 5. If you square root 4, you get 2. So the left side gave me 5 over 2. Now let's check the right side. So negative 1 over 2 plus 3 times 2, so that's 6. So negative 1 plus 6, that's 5 over 2. So the right side ended up being 5 over 2 as well. So yes, they are equal. So yes, I have two solutions. Both of them were acceptable. Now, this is how you do something in a radical expression format. You isolate the radical, you apply the inverse operation, you solve, and then you check for extraneous solutions. Now let's move on to a half power, so that's a rational exponent. So first of all, I need to isolate. Now to the power 1 over 2, that's the same thing as the square root of x plus 6. But I can just keep it as a rational exponent, and I need to move this part to the other side. So I end up having x plus 6 to the power 1 over 2 equal 2x minus 4 to the power 1 over 2. So now it's as if like I have a square root on both sides. So what I need to do is raise both of them, just like what you do with a square root. How would you get rid of a square root? Squaring both sides. So I'm going to multiply this by 2 and this by 2, because when you raise to the second power, remember power to a power you multiply. So 1 over 2 times 2 will end up being 1, so that will cancel the power. So same concept as the square root. To get rid of a square root, you square both sides. To get rid of 1 over 2, you multiply the power by 2. So that will end up being x plus 6 equals to x minus 4. So you raise both sides to the second power. Now let's move everything to one side of the equation. All the x's to one side of the equation, all the numbers to the other side. So now I have x equals 10. So I was able to solve and I got x is equal to 10. Now I need to always double check if this is gonna work. So I'm gonna plug it in. 10 plus 6, that's 16 to the power 1 over 2. So as if I'm finding the square root of 16, which is 4, minus 2 times 10, that's 20, minus 4, that's also 16 to the power 1 over 2. So that's also 4. So 4 minus 4 is 0. So I plugged it in and it did work. Okay? So whether you have a square root or to the power 1 over 2, to get rid of the power or the square root, you square both sides. Now, remember, if it's a square root, you always isolate the radical. If you have two of those, make sure that you move each one to one side of the equation and square both sides to get rid of the power. Now let's move on to a different example. Over here, I need to solve this. I see that the radical is isolated, or the power 1/2 is isolated, so I need to do the same thing that we did earlier, which is square both sides. So x minus 6 to the power 1 over 2 is equal to x minus 2. So I need to square both sides, so I multiply the first power by 2, and I want to square this. So that would give me, so I would get x minus 6 is equal to, I need to square that. So x minus 2 to the power 2 is x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now this is a quadratic, so I need to move everything to one side of the equation. Always keep the x squared positive. So that would give me x to the power 2 minus 5x plus 10 is equal to 0. Remember, every time I have a quadratic, I need to check if it's factorable. So what multiplies to give me x squared, and x squared? What multiplies to give me 10? Either 10 and 1. Because I have a middle term that's negative, I'm going to try negative 10 and negative 1. That adds up to negative 11. So that's not it. And negative 5 and negative 2 would give me negative 7. That's not it as well. So that means I need to think of the quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2 times a. So that would give me 5 plus or minus over 2. Negative 5 squared, that's 25, minus 40. So that's going to give me a negative under the radical, which is not acceptable. That means there's no real solution, because I cannot have imaginary solutions for something like this. So in this case, there is no real solution. Now let's move on to number 5 and 6, and these are cube roots, okay? So in order to get rid of the cube root, I need to isolate it first, which is the case in number 5. The cube root is by itself, so I need to move everything to one side of the equation. Now, to get rid of the cube root, I need to cube both sides. So this cancels out, and you end up having x minus 5 on this side. Now, x plus 1 to the power 3 is x plus 1 times x plus 1 times x plus 1. So go ahead and FOIL that. Now, x plus 1 times x plus 1, I'm going to do it over here, is x squared plus 2x plus 1. And I need to multiply x plus 1 by it, so that would give me x cubed plus 2x squared plus x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now let's combine like terms. So x cubed, 2x squared and x squared, that's 3x squared. Now x plus 2x, that's 3x plus 1. Now, because this is a cubic function, let's move everything to one side of the equation. So I hope that this will end up being factored by grouping, which might be the case. So I started by combining like terms, and that's what I end up having. Now I'm going to try to factor this. So let's group the first two together and then the next two together. So that will give me, so what's the GCF of the first two? That's x squared. And that will give me x plus 3. And then the GCF of the next two is going to be 2. And that's going to give me x plus 3 as well. And that's equal to 0. Now, x squared plus 2. And then x plus 3. So these are my two factors. So that's going to give me x squared minus equals negative 2, which is an imaginary number, so I'm going to forget about that. And this is going to give me x equals negative 3. So I got only one solution for this. So let's review what I did. I isolated the radical. Then I need to cube both sides to get rid of the cube root. Now x plus 1 to the power 3, that's x plus 1 multiplied by itself 3 times, so I need to FOIL that. Since this is a cubic function, I move everything to one side of the equation. This is a 4-term equation, so what I can do is I can check if I can factor by grouping, which is the case over here. I end up with two different roots. One of them will give me imaginary solution, which is not acceptable for problems like this, and the other one will give me a solution, a real solution. Now for cube roots, the only reason you might check your solution or plug it back in to make sure that you're doing your calculation correctly, but there are no extraneous solutions with the cubic functions or cube root functions. And that's because the domain is all real numbers, so we have no problems with that. However, if you want to plug it in to see if you did the calculation correctly, please do. So negative 3 minus 5, that's negative 8. Cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. And negative 3 plus 1, that's negative 2 as well. So we plugged it in, and that gave us negative 2 for both sides of the equation, so that is correct. Now let's move on to number 6. So that's a cube root as well, but written as a rational exponent. So the first thing I need to do is to isolate the cube root by dividing by 2. So I get x minus 50 to the power 1 over 3 is equal to negative 5. Now, in order to get rid of the 1 over 3, I raise both to the third power. So remember, powers by power you multiply. So 1 over 3 times 3 is cancelled. And now I don't have a power anymore, so it's x minus 50 equals, now negative 5 to the power 3, that's going to give you negative 125. Now to solve for x, I need to add 50 to both sides of the equation, and that will give me negative 75. Now remember, for cube roots, you don't really need to check for extraneous solutions. However, you need to plug it back in to see if you did the calculation correctly. That's just an indication for you that you did the work properly. Okay, so negative 75 minus 50 is negative 125. Negative 125 to the power 1 over 3, that's as if you are cube rooting it. So cube root of negative 125, that's negative 5. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, and that shows me that I did the calculation correctly. I hope this video was helpful. We were able to solve square root functions or square root equations written in both radical expression and rational exponent. We were also able to solve cube root equations written in a radical expression and a rational exponent.